Hello, everyone, and welcome to Horror Night Oasis, a radio show where we discuss all the latest movies and news from the world of horror. Joining me tonight, as always, is my co-host Ian. Ian, are you there?
I hope so.
Me too, buddy. Glad everything's well on your end. It's gonna be one of those nights, a long night, talking
Yep.
horror and finishing up our Indie-Pendence Horror Marathon. It's been a very fun and intriguing month, and I don't know. To go out on this is, I guess we should have saved Homeless Joe for last, but here we are um, with our finale. But we have a few little interesting little nuggets tossed in here. Looking forward to that. One I discovered, one you discovered, and we're going to be doing those before our main feature. And so I guess I should just go ahead and talk about my main feature, my little nugget that I found. Um, as always, we're always looking for indie stuff, um, whether it be shorts or features, and sometimes one or two things pop up, and you hope for the best. Well, this one, it wasn't really one it just I'm a part of a group on Facebook, and every now and then, someone comes on there like, hey, here's my short, that I made, looking for reviews. So if they don't reach out to us, I just take it on myself. Like, fine, I'll review your little short. And that's what I did with this one called STDeep, where it is a short film made by Jordan Pachero, and it's for the PVD 48-hour film project. So this was made in a span of 48 hours, and honestly, it was a pretty interesting little short for being like 6 minutes. So the story, again, it's not, you can't really get too much out of 6 minutes, but I think they managed to put you like at the halfway point of like a normal movie, in my opinion. Like this would have been like at the 35, 45 minute mark. You're just missing them getting to the boat and finding the main girl, but I mean, it's kind of superfluous. I mean, it's a short. You have to kind of pick and choose what's best for the feature. And so STD, we're sort of smack dab in the middle of these shipmates or these explorers, and they come across this vessel, this boat, and there's this girl that they find. I think her name's Trish, and apparently Finn sort of strikes it up with Trish before the shorts happens. And so Harper is like the chick, and then Beckett is the other guy that's a part of the crew. And Finn and Trish, they have sex, while Harper and Beckett go through the ship looking around, and they find a bunch of stuff that is not, some interesting drawings, to say the least. And then after Harper and Trish have sex, Harper begins to form little pustules on his body and his other places, his nether regions. And like this is the thing that happens in like both films we're about to discuss, where he looks at it and he goes, "Oh no, not again." I think that happens a little bit later in our main feature. So it's kind of funny, like two random films have the same quote. But
Yeah.
anyway, like I said, it's 6 minutes. It's in and out. It's a quick watch. I enjoyed it because it's like, if they turn this into a feature, I'm kind of already interested, because they set up like the lore of this ship, and like everything that goes in with Trish and her backstory, and everything that happens with Trish. There's creatures. And the AKA for this is mermaid herpes, which is funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a terrible short. Honestly, I think for shorts, it's like one of the better ones, and especially in 2 days. I mean, they really get you in and out where you're interested in to see, if they ever do turn it into a feature. Again, it could just stay a short. They could turn it into a feature. Who knows? But I'm interested because I'm always, whenever you have interspecies relationships and like the after effects of that, it kind of reminded me of like Bite, where like she had like the fish eggs and all the stuff coming out of her, and she was going through mutations. It's just like, yeah, I can get in with that. But yeah, it's not a bad, terrible short. Again, you can't really go too much in depth with it because I don't really want to give out too many spoilers. Even though I said a little bit much. But Ian, what's your thoughts on STDeep? And then we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit.
Oh, it was a fun little short, like, I mean, 6 minutes. I felt like, I got more out of the story than some of the movies we watched. And
especially the next one.
Yeah. It was really nice. Like, I liked the way it looked. It looked really nice. It was nice and clean, but like all the filters and everything kind of gave this like gritty horror feel to it. I liked the effects, especially when all those like eggs and stuff come out of the guy. Spoiler, but whatever. It's a great little look. Like, I thought it was phenomenal. It's like, this is actually like, I could watch a full length movie of this. I wish we could have had something like this when we were doing our mermaid marathon. That would have been a nice little treat thrown into that mix.
Yeah, it seems like, again, like this has everything. Like I said, just it's missing like that first half where like you get an idea of like they're there on this ship and they have to go to this ship for some reason. They come across Trish, and so you just have like that backstory of the three explorers and just getting to the ship, and or is it a missing ship or is it something they came across in like while exploring? Is it a beacon that's going off and it's like unwary or coming to this ship for the experiments in a sense, to continue on that storyline that I don't want to give spoilers away to. But it's like there's like so much there, where they could continue on and further, further out the story. The lore, is it sort of like a Dagon situation? I mean, it's like a continuing of the species, yes, but like there's like could be a little bit more there as well. Are they like, is it just like that, or is there like again more, just like to the creature existence? It's just like sort of like Island of the Fishmen, even though those are people turned into fishmen, but still, aka screamers, but still it's Island of the Fishmen. It's just like, again, there's like more there to really expound upon, and I'm kind of interested. I hope, again, if it's a short, it's a fine short. It does kind of end abruptly, where it just like makes you like, man, you just got started. You just want to see more of where it goes, because like the one guy just got grabbed off screen, and then it's just down to the chicks, and then that was it. And I like the one guy when he's starting to again spit out eggs and he's just like flopping like a fish. So I like, again, also I like the switch of everything too, where like, again, Trish is, again, minor spoilers, she's a mermaid sea creature, she's humanoid version, but like where he had sex with her, it's like she's the the one that doesn't get pregnant. It's the other opposite way. So it's kind of reminded me of Lore, the other mermaid movie we reviewed years back, where like once they have sex, they turn into like the foam. Once they find love and stuff, but it's like, again, it's total opposite.
Yeah.
It sort of reminded me a little bit of that. Where like, of course, no one turns into foam, but nonetheless, it just like that little, just like brought back a faint memory of the the movie. Like, oh yeah, they do turn into foam in that film. But yeah, I like the short. It's a fun little short. Again, I'm interested. Hopefully, again, they'll expound upon it, add some more to it, make the lore a little bit more fleshed out. It's just like, again, it's just like you're right there in that like the middle section of everything when everything's going down, and it's just like that little contained moment. and you just like, oh man, like when it was over, like really we're gonna end there. I was kind of expecting a little bit more, but I liked
Yeah,
it.
same.
Um,
Yeah.
Ian, is that all for STDeep?
I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't really go
yeah,
much further in a little short.
yes.
Um,
For those interested, it is on YouTube. Just type in STDeep. I'll probably just leave a link in the description of the video as well. Um, Same thing with I can't do anything with the next one because I don't know if that's because it's unlisted. So Ian, I'll let you go ahead and talk about how you came about the Stillness.
yeah. So I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and we have a pretty popular horror movie night called ran by one of my friends, uh, Steve, and he does Louisville Gore Club, and sometimes they have on like local indie directors. And I saw one of their posts about their the people who made the Stillness. This was their debut uh like movie, like their short and everything, and I saw that it was like they had debuted it at Gore Club, and I was like, man, I would love to watch this. I was like, is there any way on there? I just commented on it, and that's when almost immediately Jackson Monks, he got in touch with me and sent like, hey, here's the screener. Um so we would love for you all to review it. Um he's like, if you could do Letterbox, IMDb, whatever. He's like, just wherever you can review a movie on, just do it. And I was like, okay. Uh so it doesn't, so this is a little local, and and for their first film, I didn't think it was too bad. Kind of it's like a zombie film, and I mean it's probably the most straightforward movie we've watched,
Yeah,
especially this marathon. Just a guy walking away from a zombie, and
yeah, and like again, you're talking about someone who's like a zombie connoisseur. So I've seen this type of film numerous times. But again, I'm looking at it subjectively as first feature, first short,
yeah,
and just what, and it's like it's fine. Again, I was like all these films I've seen just like rushing through my head, like It Stains the Sands Red, which was about a girl being just going through the desert and being chased by a zombie. Um, there's like not that much of dialogue in this one. There's a little bit of backstory um, for the survivor because there's no names in this yet. It's just
yeah,
survivor. There's another one called Day 66, which is exactly because this is like day 33 in the during this mortuus strain is with the infection that's going on, and it's just like him, just surviving the outbreak, the virus, and just going through there and being
yeah,
chased by the zombie through the woods. And again, there's not like much on the infection, so it's very again, this is like very little information. It's just like, okay, here's a strain, here's an infection, here's a survivor. It's just like very, very slim and basic. And again, not no no fault on the filmmakers. I mean, if you're gonna make a first feature, you're gonna try to do it as easy as
yeah,
possible. Um, and like these set things up for a potential continuation. Um, but then you're just again like you kind of want a little bit more than just like half of it's just him. Like they introduce like a new character like at the very last minute, and like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Um,
I would. I was wanting more from that character too.
Yeah. And so like there was a lot of just like, again, just been there, done that. If you watch a lot of zombie films, this is nothing new. Um, and again, no fault on their own. Like I said, it's a perfectly fine little short.
Yeah, it's a nice little watch.
Yeah,
It's
I mean it's
only
10 minutes. But
yeah.
again, going back to STDeep, like STDeep, they gave you like a whole movie in 6 minutes, where this one just gave you like the beginning, the start of the movie, and like not continuing on. Basically, it's like this is day 33, and then you're going through there, and then like you introduce a new character, which I guess is again in this world that I'm assuming the survivor knows, and like there's probably like little groups or something maybe, and then like it ends. So this is like the first couple minutes, and then it ends. Of like
Yeah.
before it starts the movie. So it's like whereas STD gave you basically the middle portion of everything going down, this one gave you the starting portion, and then it just ends. Where it's just
Yeah.
like when it's sort of unfulfilling. But again, I'm for a first feature, short feature, it wasn't terrible. Like I said, it was fine. But
Yeah.
if you watched enough zombie films like I have, and again, that's no fault on nobody but myself. It's just been there, done that. It's just like it's not really new in my eyes. And again, nothing on them. It's just I've seen way too many zombie films with that exact same premise, and it's just it. No one should have watched. No one should watch the amount of zombie films I have, honestly. But that's neither here nor there. But again, it's fine, short. Like I said, it's fine.
Yeah. And I mean, it is fairly simple. Very straightforward. I think what they set out to do, they did it. You could tell like this was a passion project of theirs. Um like I felt like there was a little bit of, a lot of heart put into this. Like, and yeah, it's a short. Most shorts are usually, you know, hit and miss. I feel like this, like you said, this is fine. Like this is a serviceable little short. I definitely could see this in front of like, pairing up with another like zombie movie. Just a little appetizer before you get into like a big thing. But I am real. I hope they make this longer because I do want to see what happens to the main character toward the end, since it left it, open ended like that.
Yeah,
Maybe I'd like
like
to
I
see
said,
this
if they
turned
gave it
into a
like an
full
extra,
feature.
I think if they gave it an extra 5 minutes, making it 15 instead of 10, I could see this like in an anthology film, just like self-contained little short. But, if this was like it was now in an anthology film, we'd just been here setting like, why did it end that way? It
Yeah,
just felt like there's like a deadline. It's like in the ABCs of Death where you have like 2 minutes or something like that, and it's like it's just like it's already over. It's just like there needed. Again, if it was in an anthology where it's not, this is just a feature. Short by itself. I can kind of push that aside, push that sediment aside, my feelings on that, because it's not an anthology film. It's a short by itself. So again, I can get past that where it's just some friends, some people to know going out, shooting something, you know, getting something out there and having fun. That's what it seems like they were doing. And
yeah,
and again, I can't fault that on them. I'm not going to fault it on them. Um, if I had means back when I was younger and I had a camera and doing all, I would do the same thing.
oh, I
It's
did.
just like,
And our
yeah.
movies were horrible because
The only
I
thing
was
I did was just like me and my buddy just run around the house. It's like we had the camera for I had it from oh shit, like yearbook camera, because like one of the people was like, here, use this, do something over the weekend, we'll put it in the yearbook. And I took some, just took some pictures and stuff, but I had it, and me and my buddy were just playing around with it, doing weird Blair Witch shit. And then we had like our little joke video that we made, which I don't want to get into, but we made a joke video, and like I gave the camera back. I forgot to delete the video, and then I had to hunt down the person from yearbook while in school. Like, hey, there's a video on that you might want to delete. And so it's kind of funny because if that got out, it'd been weird. But no, it's all in good fun. But again, if I had that, me and my buddy we'd definitely be doing something like this on weekends.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like I can't fault him.
Yeah, and I think it's like this is a very good stepping stone, especially for their like debut album movie.
Yeah.
It's been a long day. And I think I think what they did was pretty good. Probably better than what I could do. But I'm glad to see young filmmakers trying to make it out there in this like crazy genre that with limitless possibilities of what to do. And I hope to see them continue on with this. Doesn't have to be a feature length of this. I'm really excited to see like where they're gonna go next.
Oh yeah, if they continue on this way, I'm always open. If you keep making zombie films, I'm your guy. I want to see everything. So
zombie
as basic and
everything.
as basic as it is, I mean, I still want to see it. Like I've seen some stuff. It was only released in the UK, but like there's these zombie collection sets, and there's 3 of them, 3 volumes, and like one was just, oh my god, it's just like kids in a high school, and like it's literally like they have like some kind of bad. It's like 2003. It's like very bad quality camera, and they're just running through the high school screaming, and zombies are coming through a doorway. It's very, very just simple, but it's just like there's some heart to it where it's just like there's just high school kids just running from people. There's like no makeup or anything. If there's like maybe like red coming from their mouth or something, but it's just like it's like the best one on all the sets. And it's
yeah.
But again, I like the very simplistic, basic stuff. I still enjoy. Like I said, like I didn't mind this one, but like again, if you just continuing on like the backstory and like more of the virus and interesting characters, I'm always going to be, figure out like try to make something. There's thousands of zombie films. It's hard to make anything new, but you gotta make it where the characters, like zombies from Sector 9. That's like sort of the basic zombie with like a lot of practical gore effects in there. It was like the most basic premise, and it's just like it's okay, but still I want to see it. It's just like I've seen a zombie short film from an 8-year-old. I believe it was 8 years old. His dream was to make a zombie movie, and it is like the sweetest thing ever as well. I know I'm going off a tangent, but like no one's going to review these, or talk about these films. It's called Z-. And like I said, I think he's like an 8-year-old, 8 or 9-year-old. He might be even younger. Cause he's a fucking baby. Like I'm saying, he's a baby. But he wanted to make a zombie movie, and like all the adult roles were played by children, like little tiny children, like almost like 6 or 7 years old. Or younger, and like they have like subtitles because like the audio is bad, and like they're cops and they're going to the bar to drink, and like they're using like little toy guns as pistols to shoot the zombies, and it's sweet, honestly. But like I said, there's just some films out there, some weird zombie films out there. It's just like I don't care, I'll watch it, and but yeah, like this one, like you just gotta make it a little bit interesting. You can't go down the same path that's been done before. And I'm always saying you gotta change it up some, but it's hard for that when you're trying to make a movie without without much of a budget. That stuff's difficult, so it's always same old people getting trapped, or a survivor in the woods. Rise of the Zombie, that's like a Hindu movie. where it's just a guy camping, and then there's a zombie that bites him, and he's going through the changes. So it's very simplistic. It's just like it's all been done, but you always have to try to find something new to break away from the pact. So hopefully, they can continue on that path. I'll be interested in it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, it's going to be exciting to see what happens next, what movie they're going to do next, and I'm going to make sure that I pay attention, especially if it's going to be at a horror movie night that is right around the corner from my house. And this time I will not pass out, which is what happened last time. I laid down and I was like, I got a couple of hours before it starts. Wake up 3 hours into the into the movie night. But all right, I think that's it. We should probably move on to the.
Yeah, I do want to thank Jackson and those involved for reaching out back to Ian and providing us the screener. We do appreciate it. So hopefully, again, take our comments, and just it is what it is, but we do appreciate it, and looking forward to what you have in store next. So with that said, we'll get into our main feature, Retro Freaks. Retro Freaks, I became aware of about last year. It was just one of those. It just came up on again with everything, just eBay, and I was interested in it. It's an indie film. I believe I think they're in Texas. But it's just like a little comic shop, horror shop. It's this one building, and all those involved sort of are involved with that shop. And so they decided to get together and make a feature. Of course, using the backdrop of the shop as their location for the setting of the film. And so we are set in 1986. A group of people, well, these three people, and they use this witchboard. And one of the guy's wife is possessed by this Princess Acula, and things happen. One of the characters loses his eye, but he manages to get Princess Acula back into the witchboard. And then it's to present day, where we're introduced to Eric, who runs the horror freak side, and then Boston Mike, who runs the retro comic portion of the shop on the other side of the building. And so it's sort of in a vein. It's sort of set up like Clerks, where it's just like two guys just talking about things. People come in and out of the shop. A lot of just horror talk and showing off figures and just showing off their store in a sense. And then we have a variety of characters that get introduced as the film progresses. Eric is looking for there's a help wanted sign on the window, and then that where we're introduced to Jen, who he hires because she likes horror movies. She also has a dog that he wants to help, and he raises, already automatically gives her a raise to $15 instead of $13. Boston Mike is just kind of the slacker of the group, where he's sleeping and just dozing off and just kind of making quips. And then soon thereafter, the one-eyed guy from 1986 comes in with the witchboard, and he wants to give Eric the witchboard, and it's kind of going over Eric's head of what's he's wanting to do with the witchboard. And so the guy is whatever, just don't use the board, basically. And Eric decides to, what, I'm gonna get a group of friends, we're gonna use this board. And so Eric, Boston Mike, Jen comes along, Ashley, which there's a side plot with Ashley where she's friends with the two other girls that's in this group, and Ashley is moving away, and she's going to have one final girls' night. before going off with Dalton, which I think is the person that she's dating. And then I think, let's see, I already said Craig, and there's a few other characters here and there, but they use the witchboard, and they think nothing. Eric and Boston Mike, they decide to like put some speakers out and try to prank all of them that's involved. It kind of doesn't go well, and so like they all kind of just like shrug their shoulders and shrug it off and just like whatever, just toss it in the garbage. And so without knowing, they released Princess Acula back into the world, and it's inside of Jin. And so Jin is going through there attacking and killing people and making people's heads explode because she's possessed by Princess Acula. And so that technically is the gist of the movie. Honestly, for what it is and for the project at hand, I understand it. And like I don't want to be, I don't want to say anything bad, but I'm just saying this wasn't good.
Yeah.
This was one of those where it's like it's trying to be funny, but it felt forced, and it came off like a showcase piece about their shop and showcasing their shop and other things and all
what
the stuff
they
that we have.
Yeah.
And like again, the acting's fine. I'm not gonna damper on the acting, but it's just like it just didn't really. It was kind of dull and boring, and like the jokes didn't land, the gags didn't land, and if it did, it was for like that specific group of friends or those involved. As a viewer, it's it just went over my head where it's just like, okay, again, like humor's subjective, I get that, but like some of these jokes was just not funny. Like Cincy comes along and his gag is that he's in the bathroom a lot, and like he comes in there, he scares somebody, and they scream, and like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was in the bathroom. You've been in there for 5 hours. Like, okay, and like that happens a couple times. And then like, the thing is like the main characters you think would be the owners of the store, but no, the spoilers, they get killed off, and like pretty much all the main characters die off, and the main characters that take care of everything is the two supporting characters that are just there for jokes like Cincy and Craig. Like you're just going in there and like you kill off everyone. You already got this sort of this backstory and this with all these characters that you're introduced, and then you just kill them off, and then we're relegated to these two guys that really aren't nothing, and then like they're the main characters of the story. So it's just kind of like you didn't really care, honestly. And again, like they kept at it with the jokes and the gags, and just like it just didn't land. I don't know. I wasn't the biggest fan of this one. Ian, I'll get your thoughts, and then we'll go back and forth a little bit more.
Yeah. So this movie, I even made a joke saying like to you that I felt like 4 hours had passed. Because, like, this is an hour and a half, and I felt it. Like, I felt every minute that passed. And, I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever watched. It was just, there was just too much of nothing.
Yeah.
And, like... the shop advertisement kind of got old after a while, because I was just like, that's a close-up of their toy case. That's a close-up of their DVD shelf. That's a close-up of, and I get it. Like, I understand. But this felt like a very long commercial. Some of it wasn't bad. Like, I enjoyed the people exploding.
The heads exploding was okay. Even But yeah, like you said, this is like a big commercial, and they put it there in their shop. Like, hey, if you're interested, if you like horror movies, we shot a movie. Here it is for like $15 if you want it, or like $10. It's
Yeah.
just like it's there on the side shelf. Like right there beside the register, and like, hey, we got our own movie here if you're interested in low budget stuff. It just felt like that, where just like all those involved, just like, hey, we made a movie, check it out if you want. I mean,
Yeah.
they had fun with it. Like again, it's like one of those where they had fun. I assume they had fun making it. Enough so that there's a sequel. I think just got finished. So there's Retro Freaks 2 coming out, and I think that one's going to be more slasher adjacent than witch vampire adjacent.
Yeah. And
there's a lot of points in there too where it just kind of got monotonous. Like all the there's a new video, and then it's like cuts to some random person with more stuff showing off in the background, and it's just like I said, well, they had to get those Indiegogo perks filled somehow. Like be in the film for $45. That's your perk.
yeah, and that's the thing. I was just like, those random sequences kind of just like threw me out of it a little bit. Like felt like, like the, I guess, web show or whatever.
Yeah, YouTube stuff.
Yeah, it just kind of threw me out of the movie for a minute.
Yeah, and that was like a means of conveyance to like continue the story without our main characters continuing the story. Like that's that exposition dump. Like it has to be through those YouTube videos. Like, guys, you're not gonna believe what happened. All these people are dead in the shop.
Yeah, and that was just, I don't know. I didn't like it. I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, I didn't like it. It wasn't the worst thing ever. I didn't like hate it. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
And I think other people would find it, I think other people would enjoy this movie. It's just,
Yeah, they would find it amusing. I mean, it depends on like again your appreciation for like sort of like subpar humor, where like you're in, like I said, it's like if you're in that group, you can understand it and you can get a little bit of a a joke here and there. But like again, like comedy is hard for me unless it involves some weird whacked out shit, as Ian knows firsthand.
yeah.
Like just like, oh my god, it's a weird He-Man of the Universe figure. Like, okay, it's again, I'm not the biggest action figure person. I'm not that type of guy, so that humor is sort of irrelevant to me. But like again, I can appreciate it if you're into that stuff. Like, there's some stuff there, but like even the horror side of it is just like it just felt insufficient with everything. Like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like even like Princess Acula, there wasn't really much of her. Like she's going through there, she's following them, but for what reason? Because they brought her back, and so she's killing all the ones that brought her back, so she can't go into the board or something like that. I don't know. Andre Gower, when he comes in there, which again you don't see him much, into a lot of things, so it's cool to see him do a cameo. But it's like there's like all this stuff that's just kind of just like swept under the rug almost, and I guess it's supposed to be that way. But then like, the finale is just a fucking match. Like, all right. Just like again, like the character swap as well, where it's just like the side characters, the joke characters, those are your main characters at the finale of the movie. Like, why? Like shouldn't have been like the ones that we're introduced to, and not swap them out for the end, especially just for like jokes, like Cincy, and it being in the bathroom for 5 hours, he's crucial enough to be our main character at the end, and survives the stabbing in the back. I mean, it's a joke, but still, it just felt like all the jokes just was like again, it's like going over your head. Like there's something there that I'm missing. It's like an inside joke. I'm just like, I'm not getting it.
I do want to say I want to shop at this place. I
Yeah, it's a
I
cool
was like,
store. Don't get me wrong.
I was sitting there, I was like, I don't know if they wanted to make a good movie or not, but they did make one hell of a great advertisement for their shop because I want to go so bad and just spend a bunch of money that I don't have. And it's just, I was like, you know what? Kudos to you. Like, do what you got to do. I think this was a nice try. I thought they had fun with it. You could tell in everything they did that this was like fun. That, and honestly, I was expecting it to look worse than it did. Like I thought the cinematography was pretty decent. Um, I mean, especially being able to see like everything that was in the display cases.
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot pause it because I kind of wanted to pause it a lot of the times just to like look. And I was like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm already running behind as is. And I was like, all right. But no, it wasn't a
I
fun
mean, it's about
watch.
as basic freshman first film as one can get. It's about
Yeah.
it's simple, and it's like, all right, we got a group of people here, we got a shop, we got the location. Let's just shoot a script based around the store, and then we'll get everyone that we know, pull some other people in that are in the area, some other comic, toy store owners, and we'll do like show off their stores, and we'll shoot in their stores, and it's just like it's a collaborative effort, and it shows again they're all having fun, no qualms with that. It just felt like it's for those outside the circle, like there's just like a bunch of stuff where it just like didn't land. Um,
Yeah.
and even as a horror film, it's fine. Again, just like the comedy and the jokes didn't land. Um, some of the stuff with Princess Acula was just like okay. Um,
Yeah.
Again, later on, like uh, when the one guy with the eye patch and he's missing the eye from 1986 and he comes back and then I've been waiting 30 years for this, and then she comes back, I've been waiting 30 years for this, and takes out his other eye and like I should have seen that coming. Like it's just like again a lot of sophomoric jokes. Again, it's just like they're having fun. They're just like, oh, this will be funny. This will be funny. That's just basically what it feels like. They're just like coming up with the script. Oh, that would be funny if this happened. Um, do this instead of doing this. Let's have when he showed off the shed. I expected because he showed it from the side. I expected it's going to be one of those where it's just going to be longer than it was, and then just come in and it's just like filled with toys. Like, oh, that's not exactly what I expected, but I guess I should have expected that.
Yeah.
It's just like the joke would have been like it's a longer place, it's bigger than it is, but like, oh, you use your shed as a man, you for your toys. Like, yeah, what else you would use it for? Like for shed stuff, like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and the amount of times they said retro freaks.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, they're like, oh, those retro freaks guys. Like, I kept hearing, like, that was said so much throughout the film. I felt like it could have been a drinking game and you would die. But it's just like,
I don't know. There needed to be more camaraderie too between everyone. It just felt like it was just like there was like they were friends, but they weren't friends.
yeah. I mean, like you said, like this was very Clerks. Like this was, you could tell like this was trying to be like a horror movie version of that. And frankly, it did kind of feel like a Kevin Smith film. Like you could see the inspirations of it.
Yeah.
I think this movie had a lot of elements going for it. It just the script needed to be fine tuned a little bit. I think it would have been. I think if Kevin Smith would have directed this, I think it would have been a little bit better.
Yeah.
Just with like, cause
yeah.
Yeah, but
It's like if
they got to
the
work with
main
the
people in
actors.
Clerks. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like if the main like Dante and the other one died at the very beginning of Clerks, and then it's just Jay and Silent Bob, taking up the helms of it. Even though it's not, that's worked before, but you have to have that history, you know. Of course they're minor characters in like Clerks, but then like they got of course their own movie later on. But I'm still saying like you have to have that endearing aspect and quality of the characters before making them the main central characters. You can't just have them be like a joke and then like, oh, that's your lead character at the end of the movie. I don't know.
I think another thing that was another issue of mine was that it felt like the parts that had stuff had too much stuff, and then they kind of like it was like a little hump of stuff and then nothing, and then another little hump of something and then nothing, and it just kept going like that, and it just made the films feel like it just took forever and dragged everything out.
Yeah.
Like the things that I wanted more of, we never got more of. The things I wanted less of, we got too much of. But I mean, all in all, it was a good try. I think that,
Yeah. Again, I'm interested. I'll watch the sequel just to see if they, if the, took
I
all the mistakes or issues that they had with this one,
yeah,
just
I
to see what
was
it is.
I was so confused about the vampire. Like
Yeah.
I didn't understand why they were there. But it was I mean, I did kind of laugh at that. Like he's like, "So am I invited over?" And they're like, "Oh, he's like, I need to know." And they just walk off. And it's like okay, that moment was kind of funny. But I was just like, what does this have to do with anything other than just because? Like, I don't know. I that's the only thing that really bothered me about the movie was just
Yeah.
like, why is
They
the
needed
vampire?
something more with Princess Acula. Like they needed some kind of reasoning, like what she wants to do, and just instead of just going around killing, making people's heads explode. There's like no reason, honestly, for anything. Like she's killing, but what for? It just felt like that was kind of
Yeah, I didn't
relegated to the
understand that
side.
too. And I was like, wait, if she can blow people's brains up, why can't she do it to the people that was it because they touched the
Or the
board?
Yeah, I have no idea. Well, it
Like
couldn't be because Andre's character he held the board and he didn't, because he was like unless you have to be in possession of it at that time.
yeah, I
I
have
don't know.
no I was very confused. I was like, why can't she just blow if she can blow people up, why isn't she just blowing them up too? I was like, that's other
Yeah,
than
like she's going around carrying people's heads off. It's like Jesus.
yeah, it's just like boom. She made a whole dude just pop and left his sneakers behind. That
Yeah,
was kind of funny. But it was also a long shot of a whole section of toys and stuff. And with him getting out of the way, you could see everything. And I was like, there it is again.
well, you mean that
Another
long shot of the alleyway where he's like doing the fog machine?
inside the shop
Oh,
when everybody was getting exploded. The guy that
oh,
just left his sneakers behind.
well, okay.
He was just
There's the
standing by a display case, and then once he was gone, you see the rest of this display case, and I was like, and "There it is."
well, there's that obvious one. I guess you missed it. Where like they're in the alleyway and like you can see the fog machine and you can see the dude beside of it turn it on, and like the fog poof out the side of him. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's a
I
little it's a
was
little goof.
yeah. Yeah, that must have been when my son decided to run into the room
Yeah.
while I was watching it and try to get me to give him Big Red, and I'm like, no. But yeah, this. Oof. We lost Havoc for a second. Hello?
Am I back?
Yes. You were gone for like
Am I
1
here?
second.
Okay. Yeah. It kicked me out. But yeah, Retro Freaks. Like we said, we went over it. It's a sufficient freshman effort. They had fun with it, but it's just one of those where you have to be in that sediment, that group, that mindset, and like some of the jokes, you're just gonna kind of walk away numb in a sense. At least I kind of came away that way, where I was like, I didn't hate it, I didn't like it. I'm just like, it was one of those, just like, it was fine. Um, it was an okay effort. Again, hopefully they take that and made a stronger effort with Retro Freaks 2. But with that said, we're going to go into our rankings again. And like when we first came on, we were like, man, this is going to be a tough rankings because each one has their issues. It's just like, where do those issues rank above the other? But I think I mentioned to you, like, it's pretty obvious which one my number 1 and number 4 is. It's only going to be 2 and 3 that's going to be difficult. And with that said, Retro Freaks is going to number 4. Again, it's numb. It's just, I just had issues where it was just uninteresting. It just kind of dulled me. And again, I appreciate the effort that went in with all them making the film and coming together to make the film, but it felt lacking. And so that's the reason it's going to number 4. Number 3, this was tough because honestly, I can switch 2 and 3 and be perfectly okay with either. But going back and thinking things through, I'm going to go, even though I liked the story and I liked where it was going, it just felt like I was missing parts. And that's the reason First Harvest is number 3. Even though I like the story, I like the backstory and lore, but it just felt like parts were missing. Things just weren't there. And like they left it off, like it's just kind of, wouldn't say convoluted. It's just things were missing, and it's just like, I don't need to have an incomplete film for a sequel to tell me the rest of it. So First Harvest is number 3. Redhead is number 2. Even though, again, I've seen it done better, as I mentioned in that review with Confessions of a Homicidal Prostitute, but I like the gore and I just like the craziness factor of the Redhead. And even though it's like sort of basic with like, oh, I'm angry, how dare you, I'm gonna kill you, how dare you, I'm gonna kill you, how dare you say something. It was just kind of, it was ridiculous, and I kind of like that because even though it was like rinse and repeat, it was just kind of stupid as well. Where it's just like ridiculous, like you can just look at her funny and she's gonna kill you, and it's just like cut your dick off, and it was kind of a little bit of, it made it bearable, and even though I like the story in First Harvest and everything that he built up in that one, I felt there was more to like in Redhead. It was more cohesive, in a sense, and it just didn't feel like things were missing. It was very basic and to the point. And Homeless Joe's number 1, because that is like the epitome of fucking so bad it's good. That's your Krampus and the Crazy Cats of this marathon, where it's just so fucking ridiculous. And it's just like, there's no way it's not number 1 because there's just so many things happening, and it was stupid. The dialogue was stupid. The blue world was stupid. Bob was amazing. The gore was actually pretty solid, that you least expected from it. But there was just so much, like they're in a dentist office, and there's just like so many things. And of course, the riffing we did on it kind of helped it push it over the edge a little bit because we were just having so much fun. So maybe I'm a little biased, but still, it's still a mess of a movie, but it's still my number 1. Ian, your ranking.
Well, this was very tough because all of them have their faults. But I'm going to have to go. I mean, while yes, the riffing and everything was fun, I'm going to have to put Homeless Joe last just because it was a really hard watch. That was a very hard watch, and I questioned my own sanity while watching it. I mean, but honestly, the last two are pretty much tied for the exact, for last. But I'd have to put Retro Freaks as number 3 because it was just not fun. Number 2, I definitely had to put Redhead, because while it was a fun movie, there was just a lot to it that I was just eh. And I honestly I enjoyed First Harvest. And this is a hard list because you could probably change them up a million times and still be satisfied with where they land for various different reasons.
Yeah, it's basically just preference.
Yeah, this is the weakest indie marathon that we've had, I think. I mean, we've had so many doozies, so it's hard to say which one. But but I liked First Harvest. I liked that they put a lot of effort into building their little world. I mean, it's not without its faults. Redhead was fun. Redhead, there was a lot of just in your face killing. And sometimes it's what you want. And honestly, I think depending on what mood I'm in, most of these definitely could change places just because of whatever, because it's whatever you're in the mood for at that moment.
That's exactly
Whatever
how I
scratches
am.
that itch.
That's how I am with Redhead as 2 and First Harvest as 3. You can switch those any day of the week, and I'd be like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. And I thought, but the sheer amount that effort, and that's what I'm looking in at, because I'm they put so much effort into First Harvest. You could tell that he had been working on this for a while, while something like Retro Freaks was hey, let's just do what we can with what we have, and kind of rush it. Homeless Joe felt rushed,
Homeless Joe felt like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. It's they just felt like they were just throwing this together as they were, they were doing it. I felt like out of all the movies, First Harvest put the most effort into what they were doing.
Yeah. I know, again, we mentioned that in the review, where he was going through that with the loss of his mother. So it's definitely a passion project, trying to finish that in regards to that. So, but again, it's just apparently he created that character, so that you have to watch without knowing this. You have to look this up afterwards. But that character was in a bunch of shorts, so you have to go back and watch those shorts. But the shorts aren't available on the DVD. So it's I don't know where you'd find the shorts. I guess on his YouTube page. But to go back and do stuff, that's when you watch Scalper, and then to find later on, oh, it's a sequel to The Night Caller, and then you go back and oh, okay, of course you don't know that at first. You have to go back and figure that part out. Where it's just you needed to, add those to the DVD or something. Just hey, you need to watch this to get involved with, to know more about the character, and just sort of just being, oh, here it is. Parts are missing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I appreciate, again, like I said, Redhead and First Harvest can switch any day of the week, but I don't know. There's something about a mess. I've went over this numerous times. It's just Homeless Joe was an utter incompetence, and I was there for it.
I mean, sometimes that's what sometimes you just, the dumbest ones are the best.
Yeah.
It just, and I know you like your messes, so
I do. That's the reason I said it's the Krampus and the Crazy Cats of the marathon, where it's just an utter mess. There's no reason it should be number one, but it is. It's like Devil May Care, or yeah, that one with the werewolves. Like, it wasn't good, but it was a mess. Even though I was
yeah,
like any other marathon, you're right. Like, First Harvest should be like number one, and like it's just, I don't know. There's just like parts of me, and just like when I think back on it, I'm thinking of like moments and stuff, and I was just like, okay, it's just like, but it was like, again, First Harvest, just again, it was just messy. It felt like you were nodding off half the time, and you're waking up and like, where am I at now? Like, oh, I didn't miss anything because I've been awake. And it's just like, I don't know. But again, I love the backstory and the lore and the character and the world building they built up. It was just like, it just felt incomplete, and I can't, as much goodwill went into First Harvest. It's just like, again, you can switch Redhead and First Harvest. I'm repeating myself, but like any day of the week, you can switch those out and be like, yeah, that's perfect, ranking for that time. But I think that's going to do it for our Indie-Pendence Horror Marathon with our rankings. As I said, it was a hellacious marathon. I'll tell you that much. We had some wild films. Each one had their moments and faults, and that's as any marathon brings forth. But I think this is really the more divisive marathon we've had in a while, especially for our indie stuff. We will be putting an end to the Indie Horror Marathon this year. Looking forward to next year and what other films we can come along and find. We do have a special show coming up for the beginning of August. And Ian doesn't know about that one yet. He's going to probably know by the time this show's over. So, Ian, I know you're looking forward to that.
always.
Always. So we appreciate everyone for listening and our ever-growing love for the Indie-Pendence Horror Marathon, the weirdest, all the films we bring to you. Hopefully you can go give some of them a check out. First Harvest, I did include in the video description of that review. STDeep, I'll include in the description of this one. So if you're interested to check that out. As always, Ian, it's great talking with you. Hopefully things calm down between the both of us. It's been a wild month. But it's always great to get on here and just shoot the shit for an hour, and nothing better than to clear our heads and just have some fun talking horror movies. So we appreciate everyone for listening, and we will see you next time on Horror Night Oasis.
Good night.